Hello and welcome to Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you on your journey to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. And this is your host, Beck Milonas, High Priestess, Channel, and Activator. Join me on this series as I share reflections, insights, and channel transmissions from my journey of walking the initiation path. Each episode is a unique transmission containing supportive frequencies to facilitate the deepest healing, activation, and reconnection with your soul. I invite you to open your mind and set the intention to receive this episode into your heart space. Let's go. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. I feel really good to say that I can jump on here today feeling like myself again. What a fucking past couple of months it has been for me in all that I have been integrating. And I just wanted to drop in with you all and share kind of where I've landed and what was coming through this morning in my morning practice. I have been feeling lately like I really need to change my morning practice, right? This is part of what I'm going to talk about today. I just got straight in there, but part of what I want to talk about today is embodiment practices. I want to talk about being grounded. I want to talk about the things that if we're not manifesting, the reasons why that could be and how important it is for us to have a relationship to our body, to have a relationship to the earth as super galactic, connected, activated beings, right? And if things aren't manifesting for you, about how perhaps there is a need to create space in the body. I also want to talk about the masculine a little bit today. But as I was saying, this morning, I'm changing things up, and there is a beautiful parkland opposite where my folks live. And I've been really avoidant to go there because I don't know why. So silly. Last year when I was here, I would go there a lot. But this time, since I've arrived here a couple months ago, I haven't really desired to be in anywhere, really. I haven't decided to be out in nature. I haven't decided to go walking out in nature. I go for a walk every day, but I've been feeling more called to just walk along my path through the shops, up the streets in suburbia, right? In the inner city of Sydney. And I've been feeling really disconnected. Like I've been feeling like my channel has been switched off, which is what happens a lot of the time when we're receiving a lot, when we're receiving downloads, our channel kind of shuts off. And I've talked about this on here before about how whenever I tend to channel, I go out to a site, a sacred site or something like that, and I channel a whole bunch of information, or when I'm receiving something, it feels like I'm really disconnected and I don't have the messages clearly. I don't have the big picture yet. I don't know what it all means. And I almost feel like the most disconnected from God, from myself, from my ability to channel, from all of it than I have ever been, right? And something kind of came to my attention the other day is like I haven't been spending a lot of time in nature. Since I left Mexico, I have very much been in the middle of a city, in an apartment building with my folks, not really spending time in nature, not really getting my feet on the earth, not really grounding, not really doing any of these practices to connect me back to silence, stillness, right? All I've been doing is meditating and then getting frustrated because in my meditation, what happens is I open all my energy channels, heaps of energy starts channeling through, and then I feel worse often, right? And I've talked about this before, and I want to get into when there's so much life force or codes or energy or galactic energy or whatever else flowing through us, but we don't have somewhere to anchor it, right? We don't have space in our bodies for it. It really overwhelms us. And so I've spoken on here about my Kundalini awakening and how fucking challenging it was for me and how it literally incapacitated me, right? When my Kundalini awoke and came online for me, it was like too much energy moving too much through my body, too fast, too high volume all the time. And it fried my system, right? Like literally my body could not handle the amount of energy moving through it. There wasn't space in my body. It was too blocked. My meridians, which I want to talk about today, were full of shit. So those channels within my body weren't open to move this energy. My chakras were blocked, right? And that's what kind of Kundalini does. It unblocks you. It unblocks. It works through the chakra system, unblocking you. And so while this was happening, because there wasn't space in my body, it was really challenging and I would be incapacitated, right? When I would channel all of these energies, these galactic energies that I'm here to anchor, or bring down light or whatever it is, or even bring up energy from the earth through my Kundalini, I would open the channel, I'd be channeling for 20, 30 minutes, and then I would be wiped out for the rest of the day. And so my meditation practice actually made me feel worse a lot of the time. Like sometimes I would wake up in a good mood, I'd start meditating, and in the process of all that energy moving, it would start stirring up old shit, because as that energy moves through your body, it wants to free up that density, right? When it's really high vibrational frequency moving through your body, it starts freeing up density. So suddenly I'd find myself super emotional out of nowhere. I'd be chaotic, right? And I wasn't sending that energy towards anything. I had all this energy building in my system, but I A, wasn't anchoring it, B, wasn't grounding it, and C, wasn't directing it, right? So I was really lacking in the masculine energy. So, what I was being shown today when I was doing Qigong, and I've started doing Qigong and movement practices for about 2 years now, a year and a half. And that's when I really started to notice a difference in how I was feeling and in how I was channeling energy through my body, right? When I started to let my body intuitively move and let this energy move through my body, I was like, oh shit, it makes sense. I've been cultivating all this life force, all these galactic codes, all these downloads, all this energy of the life that I want to create, right? The very high frequency of my highest timeline. But then I haven't been anchoring it and grounding it into this reality, right? I've been so up here, up in the stars, up in the sky, up in these high frequencies, but I've been neglecting the fact that I'm meant to be anchoring heaven on earth. I've been neglecting my vessel. I've been neglecting my body. I had so much resistance to yoga for years, right? So much resistance to yoga, so much resistance to healthy eating, so much resistance to all this embodiment stuff. And ironically, what started my whole spiritual journey back in like 2011 was a desire to get fit and healthy, right? So it's come very full circle. And what I'm realizing is, and what I realized today was, like literally my body is not capable of holding all of the energy that wants to move through me. Like my mission, the galactic codes that want to come down, the ancient codes that want to, that I'm awakening every time I go to these sacred sites and I'm called to do good work. There's not enough space in my body to hold that. And so I fry my system, right? I fry my system. I'm not going through each of my meridians, clearing them frequently. I'm not clearing my channel. I'm not clearing my chakra system, right? I'm not eating the right foods. I'm not spending time in nature. And then I'm fried and I'm wondering why. And I'm also wondering why things aren't manifesting for me, right? I'm wondering why my manifestations aren't happening. What I was shown today is that we need to create space. And I knew this, right? It's like deeper levels of this knowing for me are dropping in now, of that importance of that inner union of our feminine and masculine between the heavens and the earth, like that heaven is here on earth, which means that we anchor it in our bodies first, right? If you are channeling this vision for yourself, let's go like personal level before we even get into like the version of where I'm at with this in my mission, which is channeling all these high frequencies, right? But let's go personal. If you're channeling a vision for, say, more money, or say a soulmate relationship, or say you want your business grid to expand, or whatever it is, that's a higher frequency. That requires more light, more energy, right? It requires more to be brought down and anchored. If you don't have space to receive that in your body because there's density, if you're not anchored or grounded on earth to actually land that frequency here, then it has nowhere to go, right? And so you can be the most powerful. And this is like so funny because for years I've been like, I don't understand why I'm this fucking powerful priestess. I can, command all this energy through my body. And yet for some reason, I'm tuning into all these frequencies. I can feel my highest timeline, but it's not happening. And why is it not showing up? And it's like, because I wasn't creating the space in my body and fucking anchoring it here onto the earth. So what I was shown in my process today when I was doing my qigong and I was meditating, they were like, firstly, you need to expand out your field and you need to anchor it into the earth. Like, so you need to anchor yourself deeply into the earth and then ask the earth to start to hold this frequency, right? And then expand, because your physical vessel hasn't had the space to literally bring down all the light and all the energy of all of your visions. And so you've been playing at this smaller capacity. So you need to expand firstly and rely on the earth to anchor that. But not only that, you need to be working with the earth, right? So she's supporting your body at the same time to hold that frequency. And then once you've pushed it out and expanded it and actually landed it here on earth, then you can start channeling the frequency down to bring it down and anchor it into the earth, into your body, right? So this requires us to make space in our bodies through somatic work. I've been really into somatic work for the past 2 years. And it's so funny over the past couple of months, like since which I'm going to get back to, since that fucking trek in Guatemala, which was a huge initiation into my masculine for me, which I'm going to talk about, I've been really called to do more body work, more somatic work. I've been really called to specifically Chinese medicine and the meridian system. And I've been calling in for months, months and months and months, a mentor to help me better understand my own meridian system, work within my own meridians, because I do a lot of like body work. I've seen a lot of body workers in the past, and I've always had these incredible experiences. And I've been doing a lot of like intuitive body work on myself. And I notice like I gravitate towards certain parts of my body and I can feel where there's density, right? And I've been calling in someone to help me really understand this and create more space in my body and open up my channel. Anyway, I recently just called in a mentor. You would have seen her in the previous episode, Erin Ryan, and it's just like fucking really gelled and jammed. And we're both like, holy shit, everything, all the things are pinging and it's all aligning, which is really funny because I felt really stagnant and stuck for a while. And now it's like all the things all at once. I digress. But I've been really called to work with meridian system, and with somatic work and body work and creating space, literally physical space in my body, dealing with my body issues, dealing with my injuries, dealing with my health problems, right? Eating better, listening to my body, intuitive eating. I had a history of body dysmorphia, of really abusing my body, drug use, lots of things, right? And being in my body was really difficult because it's so dense. And for a lot of light workers, we really struggle with our bodies. We resist our bodies. We resent our bodies. We don't want to be in our bodies, right? But actually, our body is the key to anchoring heaven on earth, right? We are meant to be embodied. We are star seeds, meaning we are seeded here into the earth, right? And I've known this for a while, and I've definitely taught on the importance of us having a relationship with our body, like embodying, which is what embodying is, guys. Embodying what we're here to teach, what we're here to be, right? Like sharing that frequency with the earth through being it, through having it move through our bodies, holding the frequency in our body, having the space and the capacity to receive our desires, right? And this is something I've really been shown around money and like receiving our desires. If there is not space in our body because there's density, we won't be able to receive our desires, right? So we really need to be doing body work. We need to be doing things like qigong, where we are not only working on our connection to the heavens and our channel, but also our body. So our body can support, like it's the foundational level to support us. It's masculine. Actually, our body is feminine, but like the concept of anchoring us here, that's very masculine. That's the front line, right? So we have two lines of the energy. We have the upward line, which is the feminine. Then we have the downward line, which is the masculine. We need that force, that anchor, bringing us here and connecting us to the earth, our connection to Gaia, our connection to this place. And a lot of us resist this because it's been traumatic on earth, right? Or because maybe we haven't had many lifetimes on earth. So it's like unfamiliar to us. And so we resist it. But this is actually where our focus needs to be if we want to manifest and we're not seeing it work. It's probably most of the time, it's because you're having these visions, but you're not anchoring them here. The other thing is we're having these visions, but we're not taking the action towards them. We're not bringing it into the physical. The masculine is the bringing it into the physical. It's the doing. It's the taking the action. It's the directing the life force, right? It's the anchoring it here. So you can be the most powerful priestess or channel in the fucking world and have all this energy moving through your body, which is so orgasmic and incredible. And you're channeling all these different codes and aliens and all of these things, right? That so many of us are capable of. Actually, I wouldn't say so many of us, but those of us who listen to this, I feel like there's a lot of you on here that listen to this that this would resonate with. There's a lot of you on who it may not resonate with this, but I know that there are some of you, and I'm speaking to you, the really tapped in, open channels who feel this frequency and whatever it is. And we get frustrated because we're not, it's not happening. We're not creating it. And it's really making sense for me. Like it's making sense how all of this comes together. The other thing is the masculine is the mind, the discipline in your thoughts. And I'm saying this for myself, right? Because my mind, having double Aquarius placements, is my biggest ally and it's also my biggest enemy. I can definitely get in these dark spirals of thought a lot, and I can let my thoughts run away from me. And so I'm creating these manifestations, I'm visualizing, I'm feeling the energy of them. And then I let my mind fucking sabotage them, right? With a single thought or whatever it is just derail my whole manifestation. So I'm going to get onto my my initiation into masculine energy, into higher masculine energy, which occurred in the Guatemalan jungle, right? So I've spoken on here about how I was guided last year to go on this pilgrimage to a pyramid in the center of the Guatemalan jungle, which I really didn't want to fucking do, right? I was like super resistant to it, didn't want to go. Like hiking is not my jam. I love walking, but not hiking for days on end, not camping, definitely not the jungle. Right, definitely not in peak raining season. And I had this idea of like what that initiation would be into my masculine. I knew it was an initiation into my masculine, into deeper like elements of my masculine. And I knew it was because I was being prepared to share this transmission through a masculine container, which I downloaded at the time. Um, and various things, right? So I knew I had to do it and I knew that it was going to help me. It wasn't until I was actually hiking that I understood what the initiation was. And guys, so it was 5 days of torrential rain, mud up to my knees. Literally, I had people on this hike with me who are advanced hikers who've been hiking for their whole lives, who said, this is like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, right? This is my first ever hike. So, day one, about 2 hours in, we are hiking through mud this deep. Like, my whole body is aching. It is torrentially pouring. And all of us were like deadly quiet, deathly quiet, because we were like, what the fuck have we gotten ourselves into? And no one could even speak because we were just like in so much shock of like, oh my God, we've got 5 days of this, right? And it dawned on me. It was like, there is no escaping. There is no escaping. I'm in this bitch. Like, I've signed up for this. I have to do this. And this is what it is. It's not this mystical initiation that well, it also was that, but it wasn't this like, oh my God, I'm going to be seeing things and communing with spirits. It's like the initiation is for me in my body to have mastery over my physical body, over the pain that I was in, over my thoughts, right? Because like I was in so much pain and it was so fucking hard for me that like literally all I could do to get through it was think positive, think positive. I'm a survivor. I can do this. I'm a survivor. I was literally singing Destiny's Child Survivor on repeat in my head over and over and over again because that was the only thing that got me through. I was like, just get through to lunch. You can do this. Just get through to lunch. Just get through to like, the end of today. Just get through to this. Just get through to that. And it made me think of like, I did this episode, around the warrior, the masculine warrior and war trauma. And it made me think of those men going off to war. And when they're at war, that's what they would literally, in their minds, when they're going through, they're trudging through the fucking mud in war torn countries, whatever it is. They would be thinking like, just let's get home. Let's get through this. Just get through this. Let's get home to my wife, whatever it is. Right. And so I was feeling and reliving kind of like what it would have been like for the man to be a warrior in this. I was also reliving and bringing online, can't even speak today, all my Mayan warrior coding, right? So I was remembering being this Mayan warrior in the jungle, trudging and trekking through this heavy jungle for like every day of my life and communing with the plants and communing with the land. And my body felt so strong, right? So what I was noticing, the pain that I was in the whole time, is like that phrase, weakness, pain is weakness leaving the body. It was literally that. The spirits were showing me that every cell in my body was dying, right? On that trek through my pain, every weak cell in my body was literally dying and being replaced with these new codes, which were actually old codes, Mayan codes, of that warrior coding in my physical body. So my physical body could have the stamina, could have the longevity, could have the grit, the discipline, the strength, physically, my cells, right? Like this is on a cellular level to be able to hold the amount of energy that is required for my mission, to have the resilience, the grit, the determination. So that's what the initiation was for me. I literally had to go on this fucking vision quest, the most grueling physical pain in the world on my period, mind you. My period arrived day 2 of this fucking hike, and my knee gave in on day 3 because I have a knee injury. So, with all these physical things, I was literally bawling my eyes out while I was hiking for 2 of the 5 days, right? The rest of the time, I was hysterically laughing, like manically being like, what the fuck have I got myself into? And the last percentage of that time, we were making songs like Mayan Road, take me home, right? So we had some good times. It was a good time. I'll never do it again, but it was a good time. But that's what the initiation was for me. It was like developing that grit and that discipline, but also the embodiment of like having this body this beautiful, supple, feminine body, but it's strong, right? It's a strong casing. It's firm, it's strong, it's resilient, has the grit, it has the capacity to hold the amount of energy that wants to move through me, right? And so I just see it all kind of coming together now, and I understand so many things. They're all like really landing. And so my invitation for you in this episode is like, if you are struggling to manifest, if things aren't manifesting for you, or if you're overwhelmed by your channel or the energy you're channeling and you feel like being here is really difficult, or you're not connected to being human, or you're not connected to the earth, or you're not connected to your body, I would definitely look into those things. Like, look into body practices, physical practices that feel good. Not, everyone is going to jive with qigong. I didn't jive with it for a long time until I started doing it intuitively. I'm a fucking double Aquarius placements, guys. I don't like being told what to do. So the same thing with yoga. I hated yoga classes because I didn't like being told what to do. I just wanted to flow, right? But when I started doing these things intuitively in my own, I was like, oh, I love this. I love yoga flows now. I love them. I love qigong. I love dancing. And so I let the energy move through my body. Not only that, but I touch my body. I move energy through my body intuitively. And so many of us know we have this relationship with our body that we're here to cultivate and develop. Our body is genius. It knows how to release. It knows where there is energy to release, where stuff is stuck, what food's not vibing with you, what exercise isn't vibing with you, what doesn't feel good. And so we need to come into communion with our body so we can anchor heaven on earth. So if this is ringing bells for you, please go try, put your feet on the Mother Earth, like connect with the earth. Don't do what I did and forget for 3 months that there is such a thing as nature, and like being in an apartment, depressed, being like, why do I feel so fucking disconnected? Maybe because, I wasn't cultivating that relationship with wanting to be here. And granted, I also can see that, I spoke on here about this huge crisis of faith that I was going through and with. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Like, I decided I don't want to be so personal on here because I don't know. I just feel like I want to distance myself a little bit, but I think it's an important thing to share. Before I left Mexico, before I actually went on this hike, Spirit came in and they said, this mission that you've been on with all these pyramids out in Mexico, this Mayan frequency, you're going to write a book, and it's going to be a fully channeled book, and you're going to deliver this book. And while you're out there, you're going to be channeling it. And I got so caught up in my pain, and I got so caught up in the initiation I was going through, and it was really difficult for me that I forgot all about this, right? So I didn't write, and I had no desire to write, and I was just like, let's get through this fucking thing and get home and collapse. And I've kind of put it on the back shelf for months. And so the things that I've been going through over the past couple of months have been really like doubting my channel. It's been fearing my channel. It's been like, really, I see now underneath what it was resistance to this calling to write this book, because this book is channeled, and resistance to sharing the information that I've channeled because of fear of judgment. So that's where all that Christian stuff was coming up for me. I think I also inherited, as I was, I know this actually, they're telling me no, it's very clear. As I was clearing all this, receiving all this Mayan information, I was also receiving a lot of their trauma unknowingly, and my own trauma from my Mayan timelines of when the Catholics came, the Spanish came, and they basically wiped them out and told them they were the devil and all of these things with their practices, and the practices of what's coming back, which is this Kundalini. It's this connection to the earth. It's this ability to connect to the stars without even knowing where they are, right? So all these gifts and abilities they had, I was very much like clearing this trauma of this fear of like, if I was to come out and speak and teach on this at a bigger capacity, which is me obviously sharing this book and sharing all the codes that came through that mission, I will be roasted basically. And I've been told for a long time, like, we're preparing you because a lot of people won't fucking like what you're sharing, right? And so I think subconsciously I went through this whole thing, and I had to go through this whole thing to come back to like, no, I really trust my channel. I really trust God, and I really trust my communion with God in my way, right? I trust my gnosis more than I trust a book, more than I trust a religious institution, right? I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust my masculine. Yeah, this is what it is. I trust that I've got myself. I can protect myself, and that I'm going to be okay no matter what happens as a result of me channeling this book, right? So I've been asking, what's the next step? Where am I meant to be? Like, when is it going to end? Where am I going to feel fucking connected again? And I had to surrender. And after I really surrendered, it came through, Beck. This book, it's not going away. You have to do it, right? And I understand why I had to go through the initiation that I just went through. And I had to go through this rock bottom, and I had to go through this test of faith, because what is going to be required of me is faith beyond what I've ever had, right? Faith in myself, faith in what I'm channeling, faith in people are going to fucking challenge me because they're going to be like, how do you know this? How do you know these things? Where are they coming from? You're crazy. You're insane. All these things that I've been dealing with, that have been coming up. I've been really questioning myself for these reasons, right? And it's because I'm here to bring forth work into the world that is it's not for everyone, right? And that is triggering for some people, right? And so people won't like me. And that is what it is. And as you'll see in the last episode, bringing back that dragon energy, I've been working with a lot of dragon energy for this reason, like that some people won't like you, and that's okay. And anyway, I just wanted to share from a personal level my full circle, and I'm here again, feeling really back on mission. Although I will say that I was still on mission even when I was in this dark night again, because it served, right? I had to deal with my reservations towards God to be able to trust fully that God will show up and channel this through me, right? Anyway, that's the personal thing that I didn't really want to share, but I've shared anyway. And I'm excited to see kind of where this all takes me. Having said all of that, it does feel like opportune timing for me to start to put out the feelers for this masculine embodiment container, Warrior Rising, which I have been downloading the codex for a really long time. It does feel like the time is now. It does feel like it's going to start happening. So doors will be opening for that in March. We are in now. I'm opening the pre-sale again. So welcoming people into this container. If everything I've said to you in this episode has been pinging you guys, oh, that's so interesting. Okay, cool. It feels like I'm definitely going to be teaching as well in this. They're just dropping things in, like, as I'm talking about it, around clearing the body, making space in the body, the embodiment piece. So that does feel like it's part of this container, but also like connecting to the true divine masculine, which is God, right? So that's going to be a part of it, like your connection with God, your connection with the masculine, your own inner masculine, your own inner warrior codex, the ability to get shit done, the ability to anchor your mission here on earth, right? This is what this container is going to be about. It's going to be a culmination of this initiation that I've gone through in the jungle and all the things that I've picked up from the Mayans. And there's some Avalon codes in there. There's definitely some dragon energy in there. Some rainbow warrior codes, lots of really exciting things, Atlantean codes. So I'm going to drop the link for that in the show notes, or you can reach out and DM me for information on that. I'll be talking about that more, but that's kind of where this work is going now. And that's what I want to offer. So thank you guys for listening. I know I got a bit like rambly at the end there, but it does feel really fucking good to come on here again and be like, made it to the other side of what was a very tough initiation, and finding my footing and realizing a lot of things. And I hope that this share serves you. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to another episode of Cracked Open. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend if this episode has served you in any way. For more information about the work that I do, or to get in touch with me, read the show notes or head to beckmylonas.com. Until next time, beautiful soul.